Aha! Here we are. Here we are in our Bolshevik communist uniform. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My spyware protection thing I thought was off and actually was on. By the way, you should have one of those. Those are things that will mask your camera against those that spy on you, the technological surveillance. We're packing up because we're going to be moving. So that's why the studio shot is a bit irregular. I'm using the laptop camera. I'm hoping you can cope with that. Glad to be with you. I hope you've survived. As I say, let's get this a little higher. As I say, I'm in full Bolshevik communist mode. You got dumped on by the larger Blackrock technological surveillance grid, as most people would have done today. It was, in fact, I slept on this, and I was only looking this morning a little bit because I was fascinated with the gold and the silver close, which is at $50, and I'd got square on crypto into PAXG, and I was not liking the fact that our falling wedge hadn't continued. Let's handle a little bit of what's gone on, and let's share screen. I want to find a couple of tweets that are kind of interesting in terms of putting the pieces together over the. I didn't like what it was doing, but I didn't expect a flash crash of such scale, I have to say. And that was pretty ugly. We did an update on Thursday with the community and said, look, I'm focusing on the metals. I'm getting out and I'm hooking on the metals. But that was because it was looking a bit too soft. So here's a philosophy that you might find useful. We want to, did we go share screen, by the way? Let's make sure we're on the crypto sniper. Let's log this one out, log out. And we'll log in on the crypto sniper. We'll have a look there. There we go. We should be here. So what actually happened? Well, it turns out we had quite a sell. Tariff tantrum Mark II. Who'd have known he'd say it today? Well, maybe he needed that because of, is this where crypto and TradFi meet? Because of silver very leaning very hard into the 50. So suddenly something that we know is very negative for trade. It's very negative for the markets. Stock markets down. It's very negative. It's very risk off by nature. Is to open up the trade tariff story again. And that's kind of what happened. We reopened the trade story again. And what happened? Stock markets corrected violently and crypto corrected violently. No meaningful change really on gold and silver. Silver has traded and closed in the 50s. Gold is still within reasonable striking distance of its high. It is slightly off. It had runs into the 4,000s. It has traded 4,000s. But this is causing immense stress to the banker cartel and a lot of other places. So what came out? Well, it seems a bunch of insiders also knew. And I was warning the community about this Friday because we were at such critical levels. But my focus was on the traditional markets. 4,000 gold, $50 silver. And I'd got what I consider square in my new stablecoin, which I'll be talking about. Yes, gold ounces. Didn't like that we weren't progressing and said, look, I've gone and got square for this period. I want to focus here. I didn't like it and I didn't think much good was coming, but I certainly didn't expect what's happened. So out came the trade tariffs Mark II, and suddenly we have a massive sell-off. And according to Jeremy here, it's the biggest liquidation event in history. Some coins, tokens, insane hits. So let's cover a couple of them because maybe you were holding these. I'm looking at your comments here on the other screen. Let's pull that screen a little closer and pull it in so I can read. My eyes on mince pies. So yeah, we're looking there. So what are the guys saying? Lol, that buy volume was not good enough. Slow grind to the downside, some people think. Kakocracy is the word. So Sue went from 3.5 to 0.55. An 83% dump. Wow. Atom, a 99.9% dump. Wow. So the more degen the token. Su's not that degen. It's quite a reasonable size cap. It's in the top 15. That is horrific. So the amount of people that might have been in these more newbie tokens that got absolutely rinsed must be absolutely awful. If you're one of them watching, I have a lot of empathy for you. I truly do. It's an awful catch. We are the marks and the patsies in their rigged insider game, because a lot of what I've said and seen here shows that many people were up. They were rejecting my SU buy at 70 cents. So someone was trying to close his SU at 70 cents, and there was so much speed and downside. Let's just make sure we share the screen so that you can all see, because that's not happening. And that's almost a good thing, because I was stumbling around a little bit. So let's go share screen and show those breakdowns that occurred. Here we go. And back to that Twitter there. These were the percentages here. Jeremy was saying Atom down 99.9%, minus 71 on AVAX. XRP, a big cap, we're talking top 3 here. XRP, 55%, 1.25. Wow. SU 83, as I've said. And this poor guy was trying to actually buy. So here's what happens when you have such an extreme liquidation event. What ends up happening is they don't even accept orders, because their bots are already auto deleveraging everybody. It's going down too fast, too quick. They give priority to their systems before you. You sitting there like the cat on caffeine on the keyboard, nothing doing until the order rate, and they've done what they need to do in terms of their auto deleveraging, algos, bots, everything. You don't even get to put anything in. I just want to highlight HVF method, the way we choose to trade. Stop is already in the system. Take profit is already in the system. Pending entries usually only. Sized losses. Now, in an extreme event, you can have slippage on your loss, but your order is already on their server. It's not a case of panic entry alerts, or you forgot to watch, or you went to the bathroom and it all happened. A huge, huge difference with conservative leverage. Leverage kills, and boy, was yesterday an example of leverage killed. We got a lot of very interesting tweets that came out. And the Kakocracy, I can't even begin to start, is huge, 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 huge. You're going to sit here. Let's have a look. So just in, Blackrock, by the way, bought 45,000 Bitcoin worth 5 billion at an average price of 105 during that flash crash. That is your CCP guy. Those are your CCP guys. They're bringing the communism to you. Red star, CCP. He wants tokenization. He wants your assets, and he wants your stuff. And he wants, it's not in, this is the key part of my point in all of this. The crypto space wants the desire riggers here. Many of the people, a lot of the big rah-rahs, oh, it's inevitable. We must have the ETFs. We must have, the futures markets even further back. We must have all the systems of leverage and control that your slave owners have always used for dominating markets. And no, we must have it. That'll pump our bags, more institutions, more money, more all this. This is awesome. Yeah. You brought in the thieves, not you personally as guys, but everybody who wanted it. You got your Zio riggers with the not so diverse board that all dual passports with a country that loves a lot of genocide. And there you go. You get the criminal with it. You get the criminal that goes with it. They want you wrecked because that's how they do the communism. That's how they do the communism. That's how they do it, because they need you reliant on state, and they want to take your stuff. It's not good enough they win. They need you to lose. That's the axis of control. I am not only rich, I've hoarded all the assets and I've taken it away from everybody else. Monopoly, the board game, the banker, That is how they get to win. They need you to lose. They have to win everything. They can't be significantly more wealthier than you if you are still self-reliant. So what had happened here is retail absolute sheared and wrecked, and they can see. Remember, the World Economic Forum guy literally runs and owns the Binance platform now after, you know, our friend had to go do porridge, as they call it in England, for no clear crime apart from sinking SBF, one of theirs. You know, you sunk them, you got to pay. We're going to force you into some dodgy deal. He never struck, funds are safe, you guy, never struck me as particularly criminal. But he did take out one of their criminal cartel proxies, FTX. And I think they were mad about that. But anyway, they want you as UBI serfs, and you have to be totally reliant. And they want to buy at the bottom. This is probably a bottom. We are, in our opinion, I'm actually quite bullish after this. It actually hasn't changed my stance apart from making me more so. There is often a flush out before the pump. They need you out before you go. We had the exact same in the platinum market, which also has futures, by the way. You had a flush out to the downside on platinum. I just put the order back on. I was stopped out. I had a size loss. It didn't destroy my account because that's not how we do HVF method. And I put it back on higher up. It's annoying. It means you had one entry that didn't work and cost you some red. And now pump, I was still in sub $1,000 in the 900s. And there you go. You're at 1600s now on platinum. It's quite a standard. And if anything, this makes me more bullish. So some will ask about the arguments I was making on Bitcoin dominance. So I'm going to let go of that chart. That's a community share that we were doing. And I will show you BTC.D. Now, we said this is a turn and you're in an alt-run market. And a lot of people will be shouting out W's for Ben with the name that's interesting on account of that. And our point is this is the top for Bitcoin dominance, and it still continues to be that. We expect the alt, and in fact, this melt back here on the wick is actually pointing to a number that shouldn't hold. Did we see it doing that? Absolutely not. Did I think it would get there? Well, this is such an extremist event. We've always put an X factor out there as a possibility called the demand-destroying event. Trump has kind of orchestrated a mini flash crash demand-destroying event in a way. Let's go to the weekly. We dropped the time frames. You can see this is very much a shooting star. That will not trade higher than that, and we stand by that. This is going down in our opinion, but it still did a lot more than we expected as a number. And had the person involved taken the bet, he would have for a moment had won it. It would have crossed the line I'd offered him. He didn't take it. He was running scared. It never happened. But that was a super spike. But the fact it can't hold that tells you everything. This is a flush out. We called correctly. If you are a true technical analyst, you would have called rising wedges. And in most instances, you get the breakdown, especially after you've already had a trend change. However, and the flag. However, let's cover this. The bull flag target was made down there. You had a lot of key levels. You could have a rally. That was outlier. That is unusual. And it took an exceptional economic statement and a market crash to actually bring it. It took an outlier to bring it. And now that that's done, assuming Monday opens and we continue to get some degree of normalization, there is some possibilities that the stock market continues to crash. And we can't rule that out. But this looks like a chronic overreaction. And Blackrock's own buying at 105 points to them being super smart again. There's your Satanist. There's the 105. If it was to continue, this feels like Trump tariff tantrum, as he did some time ago, and that it gets washed out, an even smaller version of this. This is 2.0. The effectiveness of this technique dissipates with time. So it's going to have a shorter duration of effect than it had last time. Even if he comes out and he says, we're adding new tariffs, 50% here, 100 there, blah, 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 big shindig, all of these reactions. All that means is he's declaring he's taxing the American citizen more for anything that's imported, which can even include components in things you buy that are imported. All that does is push prices up and increase the debasement of the dollar and the debt. And when you push prices up, also interest rates can't be cut. So on the one hand, he's chasing Jay Powell and saying you should be cutting rates more. On the other, he's taxing his citizens, making all the things they buy more expensive because unfortunately, America does not have the production base that everything is domestically made and can easily be made. That's long gone. They've been reliant on many nations. And as a result, you're going to get some substitution, but people can't pivot quickly. If you're a manufacturer and you're making of one part, you can't just go boom. You have a favorite manufacturer and you might have a backup manufacturer if you're lucky and you're organized that for some or other reason is not nearly your favorite. He might be more expensive. He might not make it quite as nicely as you think and you like, but you keep him, you give him 10% order flow, just to keep a guy in there. To suddenly pivot from your main guy and start using, your backup guy. That doesn't happen in a day. So you end up continuing to pay the higher prices and losing market share and having to push prices up. And that's what happens. People don't operate at a profit forever, at a loss forever. They can't do it. So these guys have successfully bought, and I think that's kind of a bottom call for you right there. That's a buy. So in our expectations with the new information of this super surge, which I would say, unless you were a chosen one, was not predictable. All the technicals, true technical analysts will have been wrong in the same way. They would have called top. They would have called bear flag on the key levels of significance that we've shown you here and here and here. And they've seen breakdown. They would have called the rising wedge break, and you get a return move. We did warn that a return move is possible. It could have been the wedge itself was the return move, which was our impression at the time. But sometimes you can get a pop out the top. Looking over the laptop, sorry, we're going away. So the SLR is packed away. We are traveling and most of the stuff. So I'm just doing this from a laptop on a perch here today, not even with the usual items. I'm overlooking the laptop. Otherwise, I have to do that, which obviously has you look at the keyboard, which I'm not in any keenness to do, or my crotch for that matter, which is maybe not for everyone's liking. So yeah, in the shorts, of course, it's a nice balmy day. Massive fizzle back. That points to rejection. By the way, it did run in that fizzle the three previous key levels. So it's still technically compliant in an extreme event kind of way. So only chosen ones would have known this was coming. I would say that this would be your base case scenario. For this to be your base case scenario, it's an exceptional item that. And it took exceptional political stupidity, stroke, intention, demolition intention. This overall, we remain at the BTC dominance top, which tells you that actually now at localized lows, many of those cryptos are better and are good, are looking good if this reflation continues. And the fact that Blackrock bought in points to that. The other things on the Kakocracy we should be saying, there were quite a few things that were coming out this morning. I want to just hide. We've done Mr. Blackrock, Larry Fink. We know they're criminals. An OG, this is interesting. So that's Rex Fencer. I don't follow him yet. We can give him a follow. A coordinated manipulation that hit the whole market. So the interesting thing is whenever Trump is about to do something weighty and newsworthy, every single time there's a Berg or a Steen that's front running that. the OG Bitcoin whale opened $1 billion short. Listen to the size in that. We have the US government shutdown that was orchestrated, which, by the way, meant they didn't have to tell you what the non-farm payrolls number was Friday. They perfectly put it together at the same time. And then the altcoins dumped between 80 and 95%. Now, XRP was 55%. You know, if you're in the top 3 or 5, it was a little bit less. This was, he says, a calculated reset. I wouldn't use the word reset, but it was certainly a calculated flash crash. Someone just made billions in a few minutes. And just like every time before, it will end in a V-shaped reversal. I agree with that narrative a little bit. So tariffs, leveraged accounts, someone is just showing you there. So there's all the memes coming, and a pounding is doing this. So let's also have a look at some of the others. That's the crypto. That's all in crypto, real all in crypto. Remember him. There's quite a few people who have been smashing their laptops recently. We did get out, as I say, and I want to talk to you about your new stable coin is gold ounces on crypto. Don't use the stable coins. I've done a detailed document. I'll newsletter that on that. But you should, if you're out of crypto and you don't like what's going on to crypto, just PAXG or XAUT. Because you're going to get more bleed up if medium long term on your gold. If you're a medium term holder, then you're going to get in stable coins. The collateral that they chose, they continue to need to raise capital. So we'll do the deep dive on that when we think about it. This guy had some interesting insights. That's Max Crypto. We'll give him a follow as well. The worst part is not the crash. The worst part is the people got completely wiped out. Yes, it's horrible. Even those who had a 2x leverage on alts have nothing left. This was not a dump. It was a complete reset. So 1.6 million traders liquidated for over 19 billion and counting. This was orchestrated and deliberate. Many people coming to the same conclusion. Someone says no crying in the casino. Yep, you want it, you got it. You're in their casino. You're in absolutely their casino. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I saw some other interesting points that showed a guy who opened an account. A guy who opened an account. Let's have a look at this. Literally, yesterday, the day before yesterday, funded it the next day and put a few hundred million short and took out, and has closed an Ethereum and a Bitcoin short with liquidity and taking a couple of 100 million out. Literally opened it in time. I had the tweets. I think I've retweeted it. I'm struggling to find it. But that was an all red day. That is just blood red. 1,010 traders that are down over 100K today, and 206 that are down 1 million. One guy has a zero balance that lost all of 19 million. 19 million. So this is hectic. Hectic. This man's angry. I've never seen in my life anything like this. A chart of Atom. 99% on Atom. I mean, wow. Wow. What did he go from? That was an inverted HVF, funny enough. $2.825 to one, not even 1 cent, 0.1 cent. So it's a classic flush out. It does feel like a classic flush out. 4 traders were completely liquid, each losing over 10 million, completely liquidated. I mean, wow. Millions, Binance sent millions worth of BTC to Wintermute. Don't know what they're preparing. This guy opening a 330 million short position on Ethereum minutes before Trump announced more tariffs on China. Let's just think about that. A guy funds an account with 30 million. With 30 million minutes before Trump says what he's going to say. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This says he took a 330 million short position. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . And next week, we've got the XRP spot ETF tracker stuff. And one of our two tokens, XLM, looks particularly good. I'll show you the chart on exactly this. 621 watching. Thank you for the likes. By the way, if you trade with HVF method, you have targets, stop losses. At least you would have had an order in the system if you were trading at that time. Thursday, we went square on PAXG, our new stablecoin. I declared that to the community. Sorry, I didn't have time to come on YouTube and say, hey, I'm not liking what's going on. We were very interested in busy trading the gold and silver. I hope none of you are hurt. Being in the community does help. We did a 2-hour update on Thursday covering precious metals and then the crypto. So what happens here? Well, this is ironically, it was a little bit, if you go watch when we were pointing that XRP might be a thing, and we had the falling wedge, not XRP, XLM, we had the falling wedge, and then you got the break here. That was how we'd drawn before. We did say that there is one thing, it would have been nice if it had come a little bit deeper. It's a little bit high, the falling wedge. So you got a premature ejaculation that brought us all in, sold with disgust, got into PAXG, and then Friday we get the spiller. Friday missed the slammy that I was waiting for on silver, and gold ended up coming for crypto and equities. What does that tell you about silver and gold in terms of downside liquidity? That's your guy. And I'm going to be referring to that with regards to your stablecoin holding of choice, which should in fact be gold related, because let's just cover some of that and I'll be putting it out in my newsletter. So slight pivot into something else topical that I've written up and I will work through with you in terms of bullet points. We need this Word document, and so my new theme that I am verbalizing a lot and want to make everybody aware of, that's designed to help and preserve you. I don't like these events when followers on the YouTube channel that are subscribers that regularly hit the like, appreciate the updates we are giving, are getting slaughtered and killed. I want you to get value, and I hate that these things happen. You wouldn't have got the message that we went square, but you would still be thinking we were holding for Lumen. And I want you to know that the stablecoin discussion needs to be dealt with. You are in a fiat and debt debasement period. So you have epochs, which are economic mega chapters. And I'm referring to this as an epoch. And there are many people that don't understand that we transitioned into a new epoch when the debt markets turned. It's an entire epoch pivot. The debt markets turned the end of 2020, and you can no longer get away with the funding of what you're doing. And fiat and debt are in major rebasing environments right now. The dollar, the treasuries, the yen, the BOJs, JP, 30 years, etc. The pound, the gilts, the euros, the euro debt. They're all debasing, but people keep comparing them to each other. So what's actually happened is the unit of account that we typically use is a dollar, a pound, or a euro, for example, or a yen if you're out east. And that's wrong, because it's an old, fat, cancerous, toxic gorilla monkey that's desperately trying to hold on to a very greased pole, and is slipping ever faster as his power and strength is dissipating into the crocodile pit and is about to be consumed as a no longer healthy member of the species. And as we've highlighted before in others, in our nominal normie type chats, in fact, I had that one up. I want to show you that chart. Some of this content will be going into our newsletter, which you can also get, by the way, if you watch our viral mini series and you register for it. We don't sell anything. We don't sell our lists. We don't do anything. Just click on the links in the below for the viral mini series, entirely free, and you can give an email to it. So what we're saying is you're here in terms of stable coins. You are here. Fiat debasement is now coming at you fast. People thought it's no big deal. You just slipped the credibility of debt and its valuation. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. You cross a certain point where it suddenly becomes a quickening. Bankruptcy is slowly at first and then suddenly very fast. You are here at Mr. Toothy Meme Guy at the acceleration phase. And at the same time, you have USD treasuries needing to, stablecoin collateral companies needing to raise capital. And the question becomes, why do they need to suddenly raise capital? Well, they need to suddenly raise capital because their collateral is falling. So we'll scroll down and show you some of the quotes that have come out recently out of them over here. Tether talks to invest in gold mining. Why not Bitcoin mining? Paolo Audio calls gold natural Bitcoin. Oh, okay. So there's some value to it. It's not all Bitcoin is superior, it's digital gold. Hey, somebody's now talking about natural Bitcoin. You mean that bit where you physically own something if you hold it? That's kind of cool. And then stablecoin group Tether holds talks to invest in gold miners, the FT. Tether looking to invest in gold and silver miners from blockchain to bedrock. Oh, this sounds very much like a reversal of meme. Aren't we superior because we're digital? Tether looking to create digital asset treasury, focusing on accumulating XAUT, which is tokenized gold token. I'm telling you, you don't need Tether. Go straight to XAUT, go straight to PAX Gold. Why do you want anything tied to a dollar, to a USDT or a USDC? Listen, there's liquidity. If you're getting out in a hurry and you need to dump Bitcoin, XRP, we're having a Trump tariff tantrum like he was doing, sure, sell into the USDT. Don't leave it there. Don't leave it there. Go and put it in PAXG. Go put it in XAUT if it's going to be any duration, because here are the key points that I'm going to be making to you. Your new stable coin is the gold stable coin, and here's why I say that. Fiat stablecoin floors, USDT, similar fiat peg coins rely on collapsing collateral like USTs. We lost 55% from 20 to 2025, more than half their collateral. That's why they're doing capital raises, because they don't have the backing to their asset. Meanwhile, they're taking all the yield from the treasuries and paying none of it to you. So they buy treasuries as the collateral to back up the money that you think you own. You get none of the interest. They keep it all. They pay themselves out super profitable, but the backing is dying. They don't take that yield and buy something else to further enhance the backing. They just say, the most profitable business I've ever been in. I keep your yield, and all of this goes on, and then it crashes. And they've been keeping your yield as payment for them, as such an awesome business to be in. And suddenly they now talk about they want a bit of gold in there. You know why they want gold in there? You know why they're talking about natural Bitcoin? Well, hey, suddenly they've got all these new words, bedrock instead of blockchain, because they're sick and tired of assets that keep going down. People are being forced to realize right here, right now, we are in debasement fiat times. The fiat is devaluing, the debt is devaluing, everything associated with paper is devaluing, even equities, all the melt-up boys on stocks, it's actually devaluing. Your new basis for account is a gold ounce. We are having a collapse of a basis of account. Accounting is based on a number that is $1, a pound, a euro. It's collapsing. It's a fat old chimpanzee on a grease pole falling into the crocodile pit. It's moving, and it only goes down. It doesn't matter how hard it tries, the greased pole, it's just skidding, and now it's given up, and it's just trying to cling on, and it's sliding rather rapidly, and it's getting quicker and quicker as it's getting weaker. Gold is your basis of account. Measure your wealth in gold ounces. Rest up your crypto when you're in moments of concern in the gold-backed options, rather than leaving it in a stable coin. Fiat as a basis of account is in a state of failure. We are in state of failure times. And you think, well, no, it can't be. He's exaggerating, because euro, it's only 10% down in the euro. They're all falling. All their debt is falling. Thank you, Sniper Jordan. I will answer. Thank God Sniper taught me to trade with stops. Lost about 5K, but could have been a lot worse. I'm sure I'll make it back. You will, my friend, and I will help you. Looks nice in my opinion. HUSDT. I'm not sure I've got that right. It's just the H. You might have missed the letter there. Just double check it, by the way, if you would, please, Sniper Jordan. But thank you for your very kind contribution, and I'm glad you have minimized your losses. Having stops, minimize losses. Having stops already in the system on their service with priority over some guy who's got to submit. The incoming orders get ignored. They do everything that's on the system first, which includes their own deleveraging. You want priority? Be there first. Be at the front of the queue. Don't be at the back of the scrum when everybody's trying to leave the cinema. You smell the smoke, you leave. You don't wait until everybody goes, hey, that seems like a fire, and then run all the way from the back of the cinema and scrum down. You're never getting good fulfillment in those situations. This is how much the fiats are down. Gold-backed advantages give you the following. Unlike fiat stables that are stuck, they appreciate. Well, actually, they're holding their value while fiat depreciates, and you're on the spiller part of where the depreciation is. No yield, but that doesn't matter. You get none of the yield on that stable coin. They all take it as profit and drive Ferraris while their balance sheet is getting worse and worse and worse, and the backing is getting worse and worse, and they have to do capital raises because, hey, I'm generating income. It's not an income error, guys. It's not about yield on your capital. It's about or return on your capital. It's about return of your capital. We've gone from searching from a yield point of view and yield hunting to no interest in yield at all, capital preservation. The capital preservation asset is gold and silver, platinum, and other good assets will be things like miners. So the fiat capital raise risk, fiat stablecoins need raises because they're buying shit assets, which is why they're now behind the curve, chasing for gold miners and gold that PAXG and all those that said, hey, we want to do sound money. We want to do something that's sound money in crypto. You want to see PAXG's chart during the flash crash? Do allow me. Let's bring it up for you. That's your safe haven PAXG chart. Yes, was there a clunkhead that had to liquidate and did something stupid on a wick? Yes. Was it a huge fall? That's on Bybit, by the way. So let's go. There we go. PAXG, we go take out that. Let's see all of them. Binance. So there was a clunkhead that panic sold because he needed money. He didn't need to do that. By the way, you're up. That's your chart. That's your chart on PAXG, your stable coin. It's pretty stable compared to crypto, extremely stable. And more importantly, hold it for a while and it goes up in the shit devaluing fiat currency, in the devaluation fiat currency. That's what you get. And it's getting more and more liquid. And the more of you use it, the more liquid it gets, the better it gets for me and you getting in and getting out. That's your new stable coin, guys. It's backed. It's backed. And the backing is going up in value, not down in value, in terms of the falling fiat. Wrong basis of account. Here's your new basis of account. That's what the chart looks like. That's a horizontal line. Everything else is in the bankruptcy convexity curve heading down. Do you follow what I'm saying to you? This is your new stable coin right here. This is where you put it. You need to keep some in money and you're concerned about the crypto. You've got a purchase to make for something. You're paying off a loan. Here's your token. Providing you're not a fool, and this will certainly reduce as the liquidity goes up. You won't ever do that. You don't need to. You own a gold ounce. Why would you sell it at 3.6 when it's trading at 3.9? Just don't do it. Only the forced fools had to do that. They smacked the stack. They got out of all crypto. You didn't need to get out of this. You should have been buying this. So that's a key point that I just want everybody to absorb, that you have a stable coin, stable in preservation, capital preservation assets in fiat debasement times. We are in the epoch of fiat and debt debasement. That's why you get nominal normies shouting melt up on the stock market that when you divide by gold ounces is actually correcting down. They don't understand. They don't understand. Gold is telling you something. Okay, that is it. This is your gold back advantages. You will appreciate. You're not missing on any yield. You get it all in capital gains, and they buy the damn stuff. The more people use it, you start using it, you'll push the gold price higher. You'll pump your own bags without Blackrock. And guess what's happening? The stable coin companies are coming to buy PAXG and XAUT as well. They're going to hold less of the debt, which means it's going to accelerate its devaluation even quicker, and they're going to pump your gold for you. And that's your stable coin. That's when you're not winning in an alt run. What's going to happen? That debt, fiat debasement to the downside, losses, and up and up and up on your stable coin that has real unique features. Less volatile than crypto, steadily appreciates and reflects the fiat debasement, making it a superior tether asset for wealth preservation. So whenever you're getting out, if you have to use USDT or USDC for liquidity and you don't want to go direct, fine. But the more we trade the pairs direct, the less trades you'll do. Don't leave it in T's and C's, USD T's and C's. It's not a safe haven in nervy times. They're not fully backed. They bought the wrong assets in 2020. We told them that in 2020 when we called the top at the late end of 2020. We said, isn't that the funniest thing? They stopped messing with, the SEC stopped messing with Tether when they went all in on buying macro moves. We said we're really going to buy a lot of treasuries in 2020. They suddenly saw a new simp, a fool boy, who was going to come and be a not-for-profit bag holder. Even if you're a non-crypto person and you deal with digital fiat in a banking system, you need a medium-term hold that you can turn quickly into cash for your living expenses. Use the crypto token. We do it with a Wise and a Bullion Vault account as well. We're doing the same thing in our community. We've been talking about this. I've been structuring, helping. We have in the community, we structure with that. You can have Wise multi-currency, keep a small amount for spending in Swiss franc for your short-term needs, days, week, month. And on the longer term, 3 months, 4 months, tether it to gold with a Bullion Vault account. Or in crypto, PAXG, XAUT. So this is the key thing. And if you were sitting like me during this, I actually missed this crash largely. I only later started to see some feedback while I was doom scrolling late at night and I was half asleep. And then I woke up this morning and I see it now. It's like, wow, napalm. Napalm hit everybody. My first thought is I hope not too many community members got iced in that. But they will have stops. You just heard one thank me and pay me $9.99 for having a stop. He didn't need to do that. But if you're doing what you taught with all the materials and everything we present, you would have had, and you at least would have got out. If you were in the small caps, you would have had a 99.9%, and you wouldn't have been able to sell, as the guy who was with Sue was telling you. We trade the big coins. You have a much better chance of surviving in every way if you are paying attention and you have real method. Guys that don't have stops, it's just a day like this, you're just waiting for the day to happen. Guys like this that are always in leverage without a real reason. If it isn't doing exactly what we think it's doing something else that feels uncomfortable, we close quickly. We don't suffer fools and losses on our original entry. Sometimes I do that even before the stop run. It doesn't look right. They're all going down. That's what we did and what we discussed on Thursday. Less guys getting killed and more guys with stops means survival. People lost 19 million to zero. It's like, wow. You had that much money. How did you get it that you didn't think that you needed some protection of your capital, and that something like this couldn't come along. I mean, I feel sorry on the one hand, and I feel that's one hell of an expensive lesson to eat. That's one hell of an expensive lesson to eat. I mean, that transcends my FTX losses. That's one hell of a lesson to eat. I feel sorry, but I also hope that they take the lesson in that. So let's actually have a look at XLM now. Because, again, we're still bullish. We're still bullish. What will happen on Monday, I can't tell you. What will happen on Tuesday? But in the next weeks, overall, you saw that BTC dominant spike. You can't predict a Trump event like that and the cartel moving all that money in there. You can't predict that. Technically, we were right, and then it turned a little bit soft, and that was wrong. So maybe that was part of our prediction. That's why we got out. Hey, you're not doing what you're doing. There was our falling wedge, and that's what got me out. Your breakout was here. The minute you were coming back, high momentum all the way back down. That's too deep of a return move, especially after this. We had a little inverted in there on a lower time frame, which we weren't mad for as well. So we thought, okay, it is going to return, but is it going to return a lot? Too much, too soon, get out. We missed that. We ate red on that whole thing, but small red. We got out before stops even on that on Thursday for me. But those that didn't, that just like it's all about hodl. When you're on leverage, there's no hodl. When you're on leverage, there's no hodl. Managing losses is the most important thing. Otherwise, don't trade. Most people shouldn't be trading. Most people haven't got method, haven't got wisdom. They haven't associated to the right people. They're done. So this is now a flag potentially gone from a rising wedge. It had a temporary support, which will be resistance around about that $35 level. And this has just been pushed out a little bit, but it's actually a bargain basement. But the problem is it's a bargain basement that so many people that do participate in crypto are completely crushed. They're psychologically damaged. They're butthurt and weak. And the biggest buy is now being available. That's how you miss it. By being in it when you shouldn't have been in it and getting killed. You 100% miss it. And you have very little. Buy with what money? Some people they were so over leveraged, they got ripped down to naught from 19 million. How do you get to naught? That's a special kind of incompetence and not understanding, I have to tell you. But it's still very sad, and many new starters get there. But if you had that kind of money, you should have known better. So this is where we are. This is coming. This is still coming. Our opinion is there's people trying to say there's no alt run. You've got these ETF announcements coming later. It doesn't surprise me that there's a flush out. This is XLM, sorry. They look very similar. Let's just do this. Did we have the draw on? Let's put it back on. This is your draw. We gave you 14, if I remember right, 14.9. There it is. That's still on. On the big picture, this is small beer, guys. That's your candle on a month. It's not even a quarter. It's small beer. But it killed. They're going to keep killing you so that you don't participate in this. We did an interview with Black Swan guys, Vandal, Vasan, and we said, they need to reinflate this other world that they're busy deflating the fiat and debt debasement. Remember, they have assets in that old system. That's why the central bankers that they own are buying gold, because essentially that's their gold. That's their arch to the new system is physical gold. Whilst they pump up the new system, they need all the other clowns not to get rich because they want you as UBI serfs. That's not a big month so far. We're on the 11th of the month. It doesn't have to do much more. It can bounce around in the range from that high to that low. It's not a significant month. But you look at it on a daily chart and it was a butt kicking for some people. You should not have been killed there. You should not have been killed there. Go look at the collapse to 4K of Bitcoin in CV19 by comparison. But this is a record amount of liquidations. And they might do it again. They could. It depends how successful they consider themselves to be. This is where you are. At some point, that does that. Mark these words. I stand by them. And that breaks in that direction. Mark these words. Hold me to account. Say, you've got to give it time. It's not tomorrow. It's not next week. That's what happens. We did the same with XRP. People got frustrated. When moon, 60 cents, 60 cents. It traded $3.36. We called a localized high. In gold ounces, it's a localized high. We'll show you this because we've told you have a new order of account. It's not the dollar. It's a depreciating schmuck. It's like measuring your quality of football with the kid everybody calls tuck shop who weighs, 140 kilograms and can waddles down the hall. He's not a great footballer, unfortunately. It is what it is. He's no good. You've got to compare him to someone of high standard. The high standard is here. Gold. There's your upside macro HVF. You're going to go from, how many zeros is that? 4 digits, 8 of an ounce, to just 2 digits, 6. But you've got a base here. You've got to stop going down. You've got to hold this level. You can see in real money, it's a deeper dip. It's more squared. That's where we're at, guys. That's where we're at. You can find out my favorite token in gold ounces when you're in the community. And it looks amazing, but it's also having a localized low moment for it. And you should be in that one. It's even better than this one. But XLM is going to have good, and there's announcements around XRP and some of the others. This should be good. So it should be good for both of them. Let's have a look at XRP in gold. Your new basis of account. Did you hear that? In everything you do, how does it compare in gold? It's simple. You just divide by gold. Get rid of this dollar schmuck thing. It's a pointless, useless, devaluing piece of garbage. It's an IOU that's long past its sell-by date. All that's happened is, on the big picture of HVF method on XRP, all that's happened is, in gold ounces, you ran the first interim. You see that dotted line there? It's even got a number on it. 9.6. You ran the first interim. You came back. You tried again. You made a lower high. You spat down into the funnel, and you've already bought your way back. You've got a major hammer on the HVF funnel. That's what we teach HVF method. You'll learn all about it and more to greater detail. Book a link to book a call. Don't ever get wiped out again. If you survived, you're lucky. Next time, they'll probably get you. You need stops. You need targets. You need to understand leverage. You need to know when to be in. And if it's not a good time, it's not doing what you do, you get square and you go into your new stable coin of choice, PAXG, gold-backed and tied. Less likelihood to have a collateral event. They buy gold every time people buy their currency, as opposed to treasuries. 100% gold. They don't have, hey, we'll have some treasuries. We're sick and tired of this appreciating asset. Let's buy some dog shit. Anyone got some dog shit for us? Hey, how about US treasuries and dollars? Yeah, that's some dog shit, man. That's real dog shit. That's Labrador, man. I'm going to smoke it. It's so bad. Yeah, no, you stay here, guys. This is your trade. XRP is golden. It's going to go up. It will have a period where it's overperforming gold. Off this hammer. It's going to overperform gold. The alts are going to have a moment where they are overperforming gold. Right now, it's the best place to be, the precious metals markets, but alts are going to give you that moment where it's overperforming gold. Anyone who wants to claim a W on that BTC dominance with a super spike specifically because a very unique event has occurred and watched it fizzle most of the way back doesn't realize that hammer there is telling you, you tested a low, it was a flush out. You now have a new stop placement place right under that. You don't even have to go back down there. You don't have to go back under the big moon candle that was the triggering event. You have a new stop placement for breaking into this trade. You can buy in here at market even, which we don't tend to do, can have a stop there. You've already got a massive. That's in gold ounces. You're going to get an increase in gold ounces in an environment where gold ounces themselves are increasing against a debasing, devaluing fiat and debt system. So imagine what that's doing in dollars. That's what you've got right here. That's your play. That's what you do. Same for many others. Same for many others. What else? Monero. We quite like Monero. I don't know what kind of a day it had, but I'm sure it was crappy for most cryptos. That's your Monero. Now look at that. That's come all the way back. That's just given you your relative low 3. We were waiting it. It was in a down leg. Most cryptos were in a down leg against gold. Let's get that straight. Gold has been king. Monero, when it runs, it's sitting at 0.08. Okay, heads up. Look into the eyes. Right there. You see the camera? Look at me. Your chief Bolshevik technological communist is talking to you. Only this one tells you the truth. You're sitting at 0.08 of an ounce. Monero will end up twice a gold ounce at gold's future higher price later, which is currently at $4,000 and $8,000 Monero. $8,000 Monero. What's Monero today? It's going to be higher than that, mind, because gold's going to be probably higher. What's Monero today? Monero. 291. You've got my worst bid, the low end. 291.96. It's over here. It's sub 300. I've got to finish this stream, but I wanted to give you some encouragement. Sub 300, 8,000 or a lot higher because gold. The only way I'm wrong that it's not 8,000 is gold crashes. Do you see gold crash $1,000? We just had Trump tariff trade Mark 2 be announced. How did gold do in Mark 1? Let's have a look how gold did in April, when Trump went all doolally and was swinging his baseball bat at everyone in the pub. Do you remember that? It was April. That's what happened. You see the timeline at the bottom down here? I'm going to show you there. April, staring over his laptop. You're getting a close-up there of the turkey giblets. Gobble, gobble, gobble. That's April. It went from a low of 2.9 to 3.5. When Trump plays games with tariffs, gold goes up. Okay, it's now had a huge run, but let's have a look how it ended the day. Let's rescale this better. Sorry, I was trying to navigate, look over the laptop. We're doing a makeshift thing. We're in a state of flux. We're disappearing to a different place in the planet. There you go. There's your April. That's what it did. That's when he does that. He pumps the bankers' wealth because they own all the central banks and they're all stacking the smart ones gold. In fact, they're moving east. The ones in the West aren't. They're leaving that to be a mass welfare state for all of you guys that are staying there. That's what gold did yesterday. Yesterday. 10th of October. We are the 11th today. So, Trump tariff tantrums, pump gold, devalue dollar. More tax for Americans, more need to raise rates, more debt devaluation. Initially, the rates went down because of fear. Longer run, tariffs, prices up, inflation up, can't hide it, you lose. So that's what's happening, guys. That's how you play this thing. Please get your head right. Turning point USA, someone is saying. Then how about ZEC cash? ZEC actually is the one thing I will cover. for fun because we highlighted that there was a huge upside HVF in this fella. And I think it's one that's actually thrived. Look at that. It's absolutely thrived. I was drawing and sharing it with community. Post-event, I didn't get to trade it. I wasn't that smart. I think someone had shown it to us. There you go. You're in the HVFs. You do great. You're in all the other shit because some influencer told you. You get 99.9% atom wasted. 133. You would have entered on a primer in here if you were watching this. We're not claiming it. There might be one or two community members because they were talking about it and we don't tend to spend too much time down there. But you got in at 41. It's trading 284 in a major period of absolute crash. So you'd be the one crypto guy on an HVF trade. And as I say, I think some of the community members were on it. I was just like not paying too much attention to that. I wish I had now. I've missed out. It didn't matter what happened yesterday. This is a daily chart. That's what it did yesterday. Down to there, smashed to new highs. This is actually Saturday because it's crypto trades. That was your Friday. It closed a green candle. Bitcoin couldn't do that. Bitcoin had a 20K range. 284 from 41. Someone do the math. 7x. HVF gives you a 7x when everybody's being liquidated. Oh, that's a fluke. Imagine it resting here on the first interim. What an interesting little stall box either side. There's nothing to this man's theory. Oh, a little dip down at 2. Oh, a little bit of chop and broadening structure once you ran the target. Major overperformance, first setup in a new trend. ZEC. Love to say I was in it. I don't lie. I'm not, and I wasn't. But HVF gave you that trade, and some of our community members, I suspect, were in it. Look at that. Let me de-log that for you, standing on my tippy toes to get over my camera. It's got a little bit out of shape. I have to go back to daily. Look at that. There was a winner. Yesterday, there was a winner. Smashed it up. 999 assets down, he says, one up. It was. Upside HVF, first in a new trend. Your biggest friend with a stop and a 50% take profit this time because first in a new trend. I need to go. Listen, friends, you know who your new stable coins are. What did you learn from today with me, yours truly? 642 of you watching. I appreciate the amount of likes and the people for the algorithm saying hi on the community. The Monero 8K is huge, but it relies on gold staying at the same price and or going higher. It could even be a bigger number. It's going to go to 2 ounces. Monero will go to 2 ounces of gold. You heard it here to me. I can't tell you what the gold ounce will be in the future. I think higher, but maybe wrong. I don't think so, but who knows? You've got given also major moves in XLM still to come, getting pushed out a little bit, but it needed a deeper dive. If you go look and watch the previous YouTube where I was telling you it looks good, there's a sentence I say, we would have preferred if it just dipped a little deeper. Guess what? We got what we preferred. There was one more out of the blue, unforeseeable event, but for insiders, that gave a short-term spike to Bitcoin dominance that it hasn't been able to hold. This is your alt run. You will get an alt run. There are people trying to keep you out of an alt run. It is coming. It will happen. And XLM will be part of it. XRP will be part of it. Monero will be part of it. And our favorite option will be part of it. You want to find out who it is? Click a link, book a call. You can be, more importantly, safe when the drama happened. I fell asleep on this. I'm only picking up the news from this morning because I was otherwise involved. Some guys in the community, I'm going to go check, were already in ZEC on a HVF, and a couple of our trade leaders mentioned it. I missed it completely, but I was done with crypto for that. I was focusing on $50 silver. I was expecting Mr. Slammy. Mr. Slammy couldn't do shit in the metals markets. He went and beat up the crypto and the equity guys. That's what happened. I went to check for the robber at the front door. He came in through the back door. That's what happened. We was fooled. But you know what? My PMs are good. My trading accounts are all good there. And I was safe everywhere else tied to gold, which, by the way, is after probably ZEC. The best performing crypto are all those that are gold back apart from ZEC. How many? Go and do the performance metrics in the last 24 hours. Let's do 7 days. Zcash. Oh, Tether Gold, 3%, not losing money. PAX Gold, 2.74%. You see that? One's an HVF. The other two in the top four are the tokens we tell you is your new stablecoin for when you're uncertain. Do you see what I just did there? I wasn't expecting that. Apart from meme call that I have no idea about. The rest are stable coins. DAI, Tether, you guessed it. USDC. Okay, guys, I'm checking out. Thanks for the likes and the support. Thank you for the comments. Enjoy your weekend. Sorry if you got hurt. It's sad. Stop losses matter. Whenever you are leveraged, you're on risk. Don't get over comfortable with it. If it's not doing what you expect it to do, get out with small losses. Don't hang around. Managing losses is the most important thing if leverage traders. If you can't do those things, don't leverage trade, hodl. Be an investor. Simple as that. Or learn a method in a community where you get regular updates from yours truly, who's actively working towards saving you as much as possible from devastating losses like yesterday and ensuring you are in the best stable coins when things are not going up and telling you that the alt run will come. There are people out there that's saying there will be no alt run. Maybe they mean we don't want you to participate in any alt run. There are no shakeouts without pumps, typically. It's a natural geometry to this world. A shakeout to the bottom side, watch the surge that comes. Till I catch you next time from a different place, far afield. Look forward to speaking to you again. Much love. Sharing the video is a huge help to us. Be kind to yourself if you took pain. You are not a sum of your trading accounts in the darkest of days. Catch you all again soon. Thank you for watching.